There are moments in life when everything seems to collapse at once. You wake up one morning and suddenly nothing feels right. The people you trusted disappear, the plans you made fall apart, and even your own reflection feels like a stranger. Pain hits deep, not only in your heart, but in your soul. And yet, in that very silence, something sacred begins to speak. This video is not just about pain, it's about promise. A promise that was spoken long before you were born. A promise that still whispers in the middle of your storms. You will rise again. You may have forgotten it, but the universe, heaven, and life itself haven't. Every broken dream, every unanswered prayer, every tear that falls, they all have meaning. They are the pieces of a divine puzzle you cannot yet see. The pain is real, but so is the healing that follows. So stay until the end of this video, because the words you are about to hear may be exactly what your heart has been waiting for. A reminder that no darkness lasts forever, and no wound is too deep for grace to heal. There are seasons where time feels frozen. You wake up tired and go to bed more exhausted. The laughter of others sounds far away, almost like a memory. It's hard to explain to anyone how much it hurts just to keep existing. You look for meaning but find only silence. You want to scream, but nothing comes out. And yet, even in that suffocating quiet, something inside you refuses to die. That spark, faint but alive, keeps whispering, "Don't give up." Pain may have stolen your smile, but it hasn't taken your soul. You are still here, and that means your purpose is still breathing too. Pain stretches you. It breaks what's weak so that what's strong can emerge. It's not a punishment, it's a transformation. Like a seed buried in the ground, you cannot bloom until you've been hidden, pressed, and broken open. Someday, when you look back, you will see that the nights you thought would destroy you were actually teaching you to shine. The very darkness that scared you was preparing you to carry light. There are battles that no one sees. You smile in public, but cry when the lights go out. You give advice to others while your own heart quietly bleeds. You wake up and wear your "I'm fine" mask because you think the world won't understand what you're carrying. The truth is, you're not weak for feeling tired. You're not broken because you're struggling. You're human, and being human means fighting invisible wars that few would believe even if you told them. Every breath you take is a victory. Every morning you choose to get out of bed is an act of courage. God doesn't always calm the storm outside. Sometimes He calms the one inside you. His silence doesn't mean absence. It means He's watching, listening, and holding your hand while you walk through the fire. The tears you hide are the prayers He treasures the most. And one day, those silent battles will become your testimony. The same nights that almost ended you will one day inspire others to live. Your story will become proof that quiet strength is the loudest kind of faith. Pain never comes without purpose. It enters our lives like an uninvited guest, but it leaves behind gifts we couldn't find any other way. It exposes truth, humbles pride, and clears the path for what's real. You might not see it now, but the things that hurt the most are often the things that save us. When life shatters your plans, it's not rejection, it's redirection. The door that closed was never meant for you. The people who left weren't part of your next chapter. The pain you feel is proof that you're still alive and still capable of change. There is wisdom buried in suffering. It teaches you compassion, patience, and gratitude. It strips away illusions and leaves you face to face with your soul. Through pain, you discover what truly matters: love, kindness, peace, and faith. So don't rush your healing. Let the tears fall. Let the ache breathe. Because one day, you'll realize that the pain that broke you was the very thing that awakened you.
There will be days when heaven feels closed. You'll pray with all your strength and hear nothing but echoes. You'll search for signs and find only shadows. The silence feels unbearable, and doubt begins to whisper that maybe you've been forgotten. But silence is not the same as absence. When God is quiet, He's not ignoring you. He's preparing something you can't yet see. He's building strength in your waiting, clarity in your confusion, and faith in your uncertainty. The teacher is always silent during the test. When you can't trace his hand, trust his heart. Just because you don't see the answer doesn't mean it's not coming. Some blessings are growing underground, away from your eyes, until the right season. So hold on, even when heaven seems distant, because in time the silence will break, and you'll realize that God was never far away. He was whispering through every heartbeat, "I'm still here." The moment you want to quit is the exact moment when you need to hold on the most. Life has a strange way of testing your limits right before the breakthrough. You might feel like the light is gone, that your heart can't take one more disappointment, that everything inside you is collapsing. But that is the moment when strength is born. True strength isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It doesn't show off. It whispers, "I'm still here." Holding on doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine. It means waking up when your soul is tired and still showing up for your life. It means choosing faith over fear, even when your knees are shaking. It means believing that even in the middle of your storm, there is a reason to keep breathing. Every second you choose not to give up, you're defeating the darkness trying to consume you. There will be days when holding on feels impossible, when your heart screams for rest and your mind wants to disappear. But remember this, you are not holding on alone. The same force that created the stars, the same love that shaped your soul is holding you too. You are never abandoned in your battle. Heaven fights with you in silence. And when you finally look back, you'll realize something beautiful, that every time you refused to let go, a new version of you was being born, stronger, wiser, softer, unbreakable. You'll understand that the struggle was not just to survive, it was to reveal who you truly are. There is one promise that stands above all others, a promise that time cannot erase, that pain cannot silence, that fear cannot destroy. I will never leave you nor forsake you. These words are not empty comfort, they are a divine declaration. They are a thread that runs through every storm, holding your life together when everything else falls apart. When the world turns its back on you, that promise stands. When your friends disappear, that promise whispers, "You are not alone." When your heart breaks into 1,000 pieces, that promise gathers them gently, one by one. It doesn't promise that life will be easy. It promises that love will never abandon you. That's the kind of love that reaches you even when you've stopped reaching for it. You see, this promise isn't something you have to earn. It's not based on your perfection or your performance. It exists because you exist. It's unconditional, unbreakable, unending. Even when you fail, even when you walk away, it follows you. It's the kind of love that stands outside time and whispers your name through eternity. So when you're lost, when you feel like you've failed too many times to deserve another chance, remember this: you are still loved, still seen, still chosen. The promise never breaks because it was made by the one who cannot lie. It's not just written in words, it's written in your heartbeat. Healing is not a straight road. It's a sacred maze, full of detours, dead ends, and divine surprises. You will think you've moved on, and then one memory will come back like a wave, pulling you under again. You will feel fine one day and broken the next. But don't let that discourage you. Healing is not about being perfect. It's about learning to breathe again, slowly, patiently, with grace. Trust is the soil where healing grows. You can't rush it. You have to believe that every wound has a reason and that time, faith, and love will do their quiet work. Trust doesn't mean you understand everything that happened. It means you believe that even the worst chapters can still lead to beautiful endings. When you choose to trust again, you reclaim your power. You stop living as a victim of your pain and start living as a survivor with purpose. You begin to see that every scar carries light, that your heart didn't break to destroy you, but to make room for something purer, deeper, and stronger. And as you heal, you will notice subtle miracles. Peace where there used to be fear. Laughter where there used to be silence. Hope where there used to be emptiness. That's the quiet glory of trust. It doesn't erase the past, but it redeems it. It turns wounds into wisdom and pain into promise. Loneliness can feel like a prison. Invisible walls built from heartbreak and silence. You sit in a crowded room, surrounded by people, and yet you feel unseen, unheard, untouched. The nights are the hardest. The world goes quiet, and you're left with your thoughts, wondering if anyone would notice if you disappeared. But listen closely. Even in your solitude, there is presence. You are never truly alone. There are souls who understand your pain, even if you haven't met them yet. There are people praying for you, thinking of you, hoping you make it through this night. And above all, there is a love watching over you, even when you don't believe in it. Sometimes loneliness is not punishment, it's protection. It's space for you to rediscover yourself, to rebuild your strength, to remember who you are without the noise of others. It's in that solitude that your spirit learns to stand tall again. You learn that your worth was never tied to who stayed or who left. It was always yours.
So when the nights are long and the silence feels loud, whisper this truth to your heart. I am not alone. Because you never are. The same light that rises every morning rises for you too. The same sky that holds the stars holds your dreams. You belong here. You matter more than you know. There's a kind of power that only suffering can reveal. It's quiet, invisible, and fierce. It doesn't roar like thunder. It whispers like faith. You've been through moments that could have destroyed you, and yet here you are, breathing, surviving, still searching for meaning. That's not weakness. That's the definition of strength. You don't always recognize your power while you're in the storm. You see only the pain, the chaos, the exhaustion. But once the storm passes, you'll look back and realize that you carried more than you thought possible. You walked through fire and came out refined, not ruined. You didn't just survive, you transformed. Strength is not about never falling, it's about rising every single time. It's about choosing forgiveness when hatred would be easier, hope when despair feels safer, love when fear wants to take control. It's about standing in front of your past and saying, you don't define me anymore. And one day you'll look in the mirror and smile, not because life is perfect, but because you finally understand. Every wound gave you wisdom. Every failure taught you resilience, and every heartbreak taught you how to love deeper. That's the strength you didn't know you had, and it's the strength that will carry you forward forever. When life hurts, when tears blur your vision, when hope feels like a memory, stop, breathe, and remember this promise. You were never meant to walk alone. You were never meant to fight without purpose. Every moment, even the painful ones, are held within divine hands that will never let you fall too far. The promise is not that life will be easy. It's that love will be constant. The same power that made the mountains, that carved the oceans, that painted the stars, lives within you. It's the same love that carried you through your hardest nights, even when you didn't see it. You've been guided all along, step by step, through pain, through joy, through silence, through grace. Every storm eventually runs out of rain. Every night eventually meets the morning. Every wound eventually closes, leaving behind a story of victory. And your story, yes, yours, is still being written. The ink hasn't dried yet. The author hasn't stopped. The promise hasn't failed. So don't lose heart. Keep walking. Keep believing. Keep remembering. You are loved beyond words, carried beyond measure, and destined for more than pain. The same promise that began your story will one day complete it with light, peace, and everlasting hope.